All right, we're on.
Hi, this is Rich, and oh wait, are we doing live stream or are we just doing?
No, we're just recording a video.
Okay, hi, and welcome to my blog and Agvila's blog. I think we're going to upload them both. We're going to talk about the recurring OBE. That's the some people, I guess they can do it a lot, but it's very unusual, really, in my experience, to get out of body. So there you are, you're doing something, and then you wake up, you roll back over, and you're in your own bed, and you fall back to sleep, and then you go back to the same out-of-body experience, the same location, and it's like that. So Agvila had that going last night, and so we decided to talk about it on video. So overview, and is it okay if I interrupt you while you're talking and stuff?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but I might have some things I want to ask you about that, or just say, okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, the thing with me is like when I have UBIs 4, 5, and I easy enough, lucky me. But the thing is, if I get out of body, I open my eyes in the realm and I just like have the adventure. But if I have like 4 rubies a night, 5 rubies, or however many I have, I will have different ones usually. And tonight, like it's one of those days where I had like 6 UBIs in a row coming back to the same place where I was, which is like pretty neat. And just like a overview of what happened. Basically, there was a realm that was attacked by the archons, and what archons do, like they take away the power of the whole realm. Like every being out there loses its power, and now they're just like they don't have the power to communicate telepathically. They don't have the power to move things like they usually do. Like like oh, I'm just gonna move my hand and like raise up the whole mountain and like put it somewhere else. Like they could do that, like creating things easy enough. So archons come in, they invade the planet, they like take out all the powers, like ruin everything. And so I get a call with my team that like we are supposed to go after the archons and get back the like artifacts that will like we can embed it in the planet and basically give back the power to those beings. So I went to this like new realm, and basically archons made it in a way like it's very similar to Earth, that when you go in there, even if you go in disguise, you have to sort of agree that you will lose half your powers, which means that like most of the abilities that I have when I go to body will be taken away, and I have to go with the limited abilities, knowing that like okay, I can get at any time, but I won't be able to use my usual like abilities. So I go in, and like this whole realm, it's very interesting. Like it's being controlled by these like entities. It's like it's not reptilians, it's not grays. It's like it's a whole different thing. Like humanoid looking thing. They're more like brownish with horns, and those horns like like look like ears, but they like go into this different size and like different sides, and like they're like huge. So horn ears, like the whole spiky body, tail like a ball, closer to that like look. No nose, which is like kind of icky. But anyway, like big eyes, like hairy and stuff. So it's like these would be the main beings out there in that realm, and we have to go to the underground bases, like go through all these tunnels to get to the core of that like planet. And they have like artifacts, like thousands of them, and these artifacts basically store the energy, the soul essence, the luge that they collect. And so like it powers up their realm, and they get stronger, but they take away powers from like other beings out there in the multiverse. So it's like not just one planet, but like there are like thousands of planets that were attacked and taken away what belongs to them. And one of my missions, like, just return one of the artifacts. I'm like, there's thousands of them. Like, I should like help them out. So like, as I'm going through tunnels and just like finding out what's going on in the realm, like just like learning the lore of this, like what's going on, like what's the story, how is this happening, and so these beings out there, like I don't know what they're called, but I know how you look, and so they have the ability to control the planet fully, every single little bit, every plant in there, the whole like energy, the whole like atmosphere. You can look like, oh look, it's just like beautiful blue sky. No, it's all sort of like brownish, dusty, like kind of like a really dirty atmosphere. The whole cities are huge. The whole planet, like it doesn't have much of nature or mountains, but they have like lots of cities, and it's more of a steampunk style, kind of like mixture between Victorian times and sort of a Western, like back in like when they have cowboys. So it's like a mixture like of those both. And I'm basically going in these underground tunnels, and they have sensory system. So not only that they would track your you know, prints and stuff, like, you know, you make a step and you leave your energy as a trace, but also even your breath would leave information about you, not just who you are, but every detail, who you are, where you came from, why are you here, like it's a huge scanner, and you, like, you know, you just breathe, but they get information about you, and like they can track you. So these beings, they can control the planet. And I would walk with my team, and basically they have only to think, and now they're moving like walls, and like the whole tunnel starts like moving and shape shifting and like closing walls and like entrapping us and stuff. And I would wake up, roll over, like, you know, just like, okay, back to sleep, and like, oh, just another Ubi, like big deal, right? And like I roll over, fall asleep, and I wake up back into where I stopped, and I continue my dream, and that like happened like 6 times, like, or more. Like, I wasn't really counting, but a lot of times. Like, I woke up a lot and came back to the same place, and you know, it's just it was like long, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours of a physical body being there for like over a few weeks.
Wow. Oh, there's so much I want to say about this.
Okay.
One is, well done, way to go. That's amazing that you have that ability and can do that. Now, imagine this for a second. A person is multidimensional. In other words, they have full control to be in this dimensional plane or another. They can go back and forth. I'm not saying this is you. I'm not saying it's not you. I'm just saying this idea of a person who can be here anytime they want, leave anytime they want, you know, lay their body down or put it in a meditative state, or just let it walk, you know, take a long walk along the river path, walking, and the being can leave the body and go to another realm, like you just did to this steampunk sort of Western realm. Okay, now, if they spent more time there, if they spent like 20 hours a day there and only 4 hours a day here, low maintenance on this body, and they just dropped in a little bit, 4 hours a day, and then they're back over there, you could say that that was their reality over there, and this is their out-of-body experience. You could sort of look at it like that. Yeah. So it really has to do with what the being identifies as their local universe or their local dimensional plane. So most of us on planet Earth identify with the physical universe, Earth life experience in this one body that we have, that we're aware of. And this is our local reality experience. But people who can have recurring UBIs, and if they could go out anytime they wanted and stay as long as they wanted, they might still consider this their local reality. And it's just a belief. You know, that's just what they believe. Well, they could believe that, no, this isn't my local reality. I'm a multidimensional, free, liberated being of the multiverse. And this is what I do. This is how I am. And they are not trapped by any particular universe or dimensional plane, except by their addiction or connection to the realm, to one realm over another. And it's not just, I'm talking about addicted to, you know, it's like there's relationships, your job, your lifestyle, your situation, like you have a goal or an objective. Now, the next part of this has to do with how we create games. I mean, there's game developers right now that create online games all over the place. And the developers are creating these vast universes, or these vast open worlds. Well, then people, us, just gamers, like real physical universe gamer people, we just go out and buy a game and we get online and we go play the game. We get in this universe and we like it. And some of us get addicted to the game and want to keep going back and back. Well, if that was a virtual reality game and you got all your gear on, and like you really, it's very immersive and a great story and you love it more than you like this realm, you're going to spend most of your time eating your potato chips and drinking your soda pop and Monster drink and in your game. You're addicted to this thing. So if you step back from this and you go, what's the similarities between gamers making games for the population and us getting involved, and the physical universe and the multiverse? And there's really no difference. You can see the psychology of the creator beings who create dimensional realms. You can call them the demiurge, you can call it just some guy who thought up in consciousness a great game experience. And that's what they do right now with, you know, all these game universe, game developer companies. That's what they do. They create worlds. So as you're telling me about this steampunk thing and this realm, and this, what a great thing, what a great adventure it is for you, you know, because I know you like those online, those open world adventure things where you search and you find things, and you know, you pay a bigger game aside from the main storyline, so to speak. And I go, wow, the game developers these days and the people who play computer games these days here on Earth, this is just emulating or simulating how we do it in a bigger picture in the multiverse. And then it occurred to me, I go, oh my God, every game creator company that created a game world, and there's so many different game worlds, right? There's the horror flick genre, there's the apocalypse genre, there's steampunk, there's animated, you know, all these different worlds and realms and atmosphere, so to speak. We are doing here what they are doing in the multiverse, or we are doing here what we are doing in the multiverse. So these realms that you're experiencing, it's the same thing. And I realize for every game universe there is here that we can be familiar with, and there's thousands and thousands of games and game universes, those things exist for real in these other planes of existence. So we can go out of body, shift consciousness into these other dimensional realms, game worlds, you might say, or just alternate universes. Same sort of thing. It was just like, wow, you just like gave me like a mind explosion of wow. And you're one of these people that can do it for real. Like you can go back to the game over and over again. But you know, you get to ask the question, well, is this real or is that real? Or are they both real? But I decided to call this real because I like this place and I don't want to think this is not real. And I only go there when I fall asleep anyway, but I'm not asleep, I'm awake over there. But that's a great adventure. But this is, you have a greater confront for the experience of life by virtue of the fact that you're actually experiencing it. Thus, you must be able to confront it more than most people. Most people on this planet, we can't confront that. So it's unconscious to us from this perspective. We don't remember it. We might be living it while the body's asleep, but we don't remember it when we get back. So, wow. That was the long story. The short story is, wow, you're amazing.
Thanks. Well, what I'm amazed is that like you can always put how I feel and the way I experience life in words. Because like everything you just say, this is exactly how I see it, but I don't know how to explain it in my own words, and you just say it, so it's perfect. And to me, like I just want to mention a few things. One is that like all the games I'm playing, all the games like people are playing, movies they're watching, books they're reading, TV shows, and all that, like all the experiences that we get like simulated for us, if we just like watch, see, or play and stuff, we can go out of body and tune in that world. If people like to watch specific anime, like Dragon Ball, Hunter x Hunter, like Pokemon, something, there are realms in the multiverse where you can go there and become the main character, the side character, your original character, and have your own Pokemons or have your own adventure, or you can be an assassin in the whole, like, you know, Brotherhood, and like, you know, there are like tons of realms where you can do that, and like that's pretty fun. But then coming back to Earth, like we have AI being like developed to the point where like they're gonna try this transhumanism and get like this AI and more robotics into human body. Let's say, let's do the VR, but now they connect the AI to us and different things. And what if they can alter our thoughts? What if they can alter our emotions? Like they already have technology where they can delete memories and implant something new. It's already being developed. So imagine the same thing, but more advanced by a few billion years in the multiverse. This is so easy. So the realm I'm going in, in the experience I've had, there was a point where I'm in this whole like underground, just like, you know, like going through, just like looking for more of artifacts, and my team gets trapped, and I see them like the walls transform into the living organism. It's sentient, and what they do is like they sort of drag them, connect to them, like a sort of like, I don't know, like tentacle looking thing, more of a, I don't know, like muddy something living organism. And so these like, you know, my team, they get sort of sucked into the walls. And what it does, like I see them sort of transforming a little bit, but they stop. And when the walls of the living organism lets them go, they forgot everything. They don't have their memories anymore. They're completely different. So that whole like planet, like living being, they like mess you up. Just like like here, this technology is just being developed, but out there they already have it going. And for them, like whatever they suck up, like they start using themselves, all information and everything. So for me, like, you know, it's all of these out-of-box experiences I have just gives me a lot of information of what's going on out there and whole look of like all the possibilities. So like it's pretty amazing to think like of all these things we can do, and at the same time, you know, like there are all kinds of films out there.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Really. And even like an anime world or an animated feature, it's 2D. It's a video and not a 3D game world. Even those, if people are, the designers are thinking those here in the higher realms, they're creating those in 3D, and people are actually moving in and being these various game characters or movie characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The neat thing is that like you can go out of body and even like leave part of your consciousness in some other realm, or just create, okay, I'm gonna have a body over here, and you can create a body and basically start living there, or partly, you know, like because you like wake up in this physical world, but part of you lives there, and you can literally like, you know, have any kind of world, like, you know, any kind of fantasy world, like science fiction, like whatever you can imagine, that would be like really nice for you, something that you would love, and you can use that body to channel information for you. So literally, like you go to body and you connect with it, and like sort of just as if you would be plugging a USB and like downloading all the data, and then you come back, but now you have an idea for something like new. Like, oh, let's create a movie, and you didn't create something new. That body like gave you information of what it experienced, and now you're just like writing it down. Like, so that's pretty neat.
Yeah, that reminds me of this guy Goldman and his quantum jumping. Goldman, he's got a whole thing. You can just find it on YouTube and everywhere. But quantum jumping is like you make a quantum jump. In other words, you jump to another dimensional plane where there's these other versions of yourself living whatever you desire here. There's a version of you in some multiverse place that is living that experience. They made it work, you know, whatever you want, and you don't know how to make it work. How do you get from here to that great lifestyle? Well, there's a version of you that made it. So Burt Goldman's technique is basically do this, you know, it's kind of quiet the mind and before you go to bed, blah, blah, blah. It's technique. But then you tap into and visit this other version of yourself. And it is another you. So it's not like a foreign or an alien or a different beingness. It's you. So this is, you can say this has to do with one's over self and all their many different underselves. So being an underself, you kind of tap into another underself by going to kind of like go to the hub, so to speak, over self place, and then just move into one of these gazillions of different versions of yourself. But it's all the same consciousness that you are. So you do this quantum jump and you find this other self who made it, and then you download, like you were just talking about, you download the information and you download the ability, the personality character. So, and then you bring it back here, and that's his technique. But you know, you're sharing it from a whole different perspective. You're living it, and being able to get on YouTube here and share with me and the world, you know, the sort of things that you're doing and how you're doing it. It's really amazing, good stuff.
What's interesting to me is that my whole life I thought like, oh, everyone does that, like there's nothing special about me. But then I found out that like, oh, people can't really do it, like some of them, or they're limited, or they don't know things, and they're interested and they listen to me, and I'm like, what the hell? So like, you know, just like I started like this year just making my YouTube videos and stuff, and I never thought that I could even get a following or someone being interested, but apparently people ask me to share my stories and my UBIs, and like I'm just amazed that I can do it.
Yeah. Well, I'm always brainstorming ways to make money. Who doesn't do that? Raise your hand. You don't do that? I thought everybody did that. But anyway, like you and me, we could do maybe an UBI, an out-of-body coaching thing, like a Patreon sort of deal where they pay, you know, so much a month, and they get it's kind of weekly coaching, or get some kind of a, you know, a thing where we can share the various techniques and help them get, you know, stay on track, do their exercises, their drills, their UBI techniques, and their practice affirmations or release work, whatever it is, on a weekly or a monthly, you know, donation contribution or whatever like that, like a life coaching, but UBI coaching sort of thing on the monthly. So you know, like, you know, like $10 a week or $25 a week, or yeah, more like 10 probably, but you know, I'm different levels and different strategies, but yeah, then that way you could help people do what you're so good at, and they could help you, you know, mutually reciprocal assistance, help, blah 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 blah. I went say, I thought we were talking about your recurring UBI. Know what you fucking talking about?
Well, I'm glad you can brainstorm some ideas.
Yeah, I'm an embracer of ideas. So yeah, more about your recurring UBI. Do you think you could do it again? Like, you didn't intend to do that, right? It just happened?
The thing is, like, after 14 years, like, after, like, I was 14 years old, and I went through your UBI boot camp, and I've been working my ass for a whole year, every single day, like, morning, day, night. I put a lot of work. Now, I don't have to work. I don't even try to have it at body free. Like, I just go to bed, oh, I'll go to sleep, and I already wake up in the realms and just cringe. I'm like, okay, like, everyday thing, like, nothing new.
Yeah. If you tried, or if you intended to go back, recurring UBI sort of thing, do you think it would be easy or hard, or who knows?
I think so. Like, I've done it in the past, not that much. Like, I haven't tried that much, but I did try. Like, you know, sometimes I have like a really interesting realm or like a story, like, you know, out there, like, and I really enjoy it, and I'm like, damn, this is so good, I want it back. And like, you know, I just sort of lay down, like, well, lay down, just like roll over and think about the realm, just focus on it, to close my eyes and just focus on the experience. And soon enough, my consciousness shifts, and I'm back in there. My body's like asleep, or like, you know, already like ready, and yeah, it's pretty enjoyable.
Yeah. Well, here's a weird philosophical thought. Like, in the regular real world here, we turn on a game and we play, whether it's a single player game or it's a, you know, multiplayer, doesn't matter. But you get in the game, and while you're in the game, it's very important, and you get really involved. The better the story, the deeper the engagement, and you know, it's just really fun. You're really loving the game, and you're leveling up, and you're getting the rewards, and you're like finding the goodies, and you love the game. That's great. In that game world, nothing here in the physical world is very important while you're in the game world.
Yeah.
You don't even think about this world. You're in your game world, and you love it. Okay. When you leave the game world, you know, you got to go to work, you got to go to school, you got to go eat, you got to do the grocery shopping, whatever you got to do. You get done with the game, you finally turn it off, and you shift consciousness out of that world, out of that dimensional plane. And now you're back here. And now you get involved in this life. You're going to go shopping, you're going to go Christmas shopping, you're going to go have lunch, you're going to go mow the yard, you're going to wash clothes or something. And your attention gets involved here. But you would be considered, you know, a basket case, and your mother would be wanting to put you into the nut house, or called the shrink, if while everything you do in this world, the physical world, your attention was really when can you get back to the game? When can you get back to the game? It's like you're addicted to the game. You know, that's too much, Junior, little boy. It's fucked up. Or husband or wife, you know, that's fucked up. Hey, that's all you do. You're fed it, you know, you just think about the game. That's all you do. And you're not doing anything in this world, right? Well, what if we are in a game and when we get out, we're out, we don't hardly remember, most people don't remember what they're doing in their dream world or their out-of-body experience stuff. But if you did remember it, you're out there and then, but you got to come back here. You're out there, but you got to come back here. You're out there and you got to come back. And it's all a subconscious thing, you know. I'd be out-of-body experience and I'm there and I can feel the consciousness shifting, the pull back to the physical universe experience. I'm going, no, I don't want to go, or, you know, and I'll look at my hands real hard. I'll try to ground myself in the non-physical realm, and I'll touch the ground, I'll touch the walls, and sometimes that will draw my attention back, and whatever subconscious trigger is pulling me back to the physical universe so abruptly and so powerfully, I can break it. But it's like a hypnotic spell. It's a trance state or a hypnotic suggestion sort of thing. Go back to the game, you know, but let's go back to the physical realm. So you might say that if we're stuck with this condition of being in an out-of-body experience and being drawn back to the game, well, if it was in the physical world and we were drawn back to an online game that powerfully, people would think we're fucked up. You know, hey, you need to go talk to somebody about this. You have a problem, intervention. But what if, as humans, we've gotten caught up so much into this game, and that would be one of the things to do, is to learn that this is a game. This physical universe is a game kind of experience, a simulation, a matrix, a created realm. But you got to keep in mind they all are. You know, we call it a matrix and we go, oh, bad. No, it's yeah, but wherever you leave from here, you go into another place. It's another universe like this. The distinction between matrix usually implies a construct or a structure or an infrastructure within which something else is embedded. And so things are embedded within the matrix or the construct, and that's us, humans with our consciousness. We are embedded in the construct. And the key word is embedded, as in stuck, as in hard to get out of. It's embedded. Okay, so that will make the structure not just a structure that you can go in and out of, or a game universe that you can go in and out of, but a game universe that you go into. It's a structure, but now it's a special kind of game universe that you're embedded in, you have a hard time getting out of. Thus, definition, matrix. We're stuck in a matrix. And it is also a simulation of a greater reality. But so many of them are. And is there an original prototype universe? Of course. But that is a big deal. You know, the prototype isn't normally the one, you know, that makes it to the market and gets sold. They tweak it and they tweak it and they tweak it. You know, and that's what we've done in the multiverse. We've got bazillions of these universes, all kinds. People make these games that we buy on the shelf at GameStop or Game Store or Best Buy or Amazon. We could buy these games, and then we come home, we load them up, and we get into them. But we're not embedded in them where we're stuck and can't get out. And they're not virtual reality or a 3D touchy-feely. But you can analyze what's going on with spirit and consciousness by looking and seeing what's going on with us, with our interacting with our games, especially with this high-tech stuff coming out and the AI and all that stuff. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Did I talk too much?
No, you're talking the perfect amount.
Oh, good. Thank you for the feedback. I really love that. I need that feedback.
Well, the thing is with me, like, when I recall in my childhood, like, I would be so drawn to other places because, like, since childhood, I could get out of body. I just did not understood what it was. But it was happening so much and so bad that, like, I could literally, like, walk in the street and see people and like sort of in the middle. And in one part I see people, and another part I see another realm. And I'm in both places at the same time. Beings out there can see me, can talk to me, we can interact, but people here also see me interacting. They don't see who I'm talking to. And I would be like so messed up because in childhood I could see more normal people. I could experience more. And whenever I want to share about it, like I'm crazy. To everyone, I'm crazy. And I'm like, okay, guess I'll have to shut up. Guess I have to like not talk to anyone about it. And I would just like hold it in, and like, you know, then life happens and I suppress this ability. But I believe that a lot of people actually can do it if they're not like messed over with the system, messed by their like parents or like, you know, like their surroundings. I think a lot of us could get our body naturally, could experience much more, but just because of the place we're living in, being like, you know, suppressed and like, you know, like we have to learn everything the system wants us to learn and stuff like that. And now we get so into this world that we stop thinking in the multiverse. We're like stuck here on Earth. Earth is the only thing that exists. There are no aliens. Blah blah blah. We learned all these things, and it becomes hard for us to confront that there is something more than that. And as kids, they don't have that. They don't have beliefs. They come as neutral, and they have the knowingness of the possibilities, but they have to learn what the parents and the system and everyone else tells them. And up to 70 years, they're learning. And for me, it was like a period for me when I was experiencing a lot, but at the same time, I was getting suppressed because no one else understood me. No one else could accept it. No one else could explain me what's going on. And, you know, I was just like the only one that was like experiencing that in my own surroundings. And, you know, it was really bad. And then just like, don't talk to anyone, it's going to get bad, you know? So like, I really like had to suppress it. And after a while, after I like broke free from the like suppressive environment and I started like, you know, living alone, like working on myself and stuff, it finally opens up again. And now after a long time, after the suppression, I finally get this ability back. But it's a bit harder to confront at times because like it gets overwhelming, because now like I can walk in the street and experiencing the same thing again. Like I can see more entities, I can see more beings, I can see a few realms at the same time. And like, how do you focus? Like, oh, okay, or when I like focus on the physical realm details and things, because the more I focus there, I can be walking in the street but seeing the whole different image of where I am, and I can literally hit something, you know. So I have to like focus here, and like it sometimes it becomes hard. Like, you know, we could be driving somewhere and you could be talking to me, and then I start like looking at something and I completely forget that I'm in the car. I could be, it would feel like I'm flying in a realm, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there are differences for me, but like it's just amazing of how much there is and like how much we do not know. Or it's even like for me it's hard to explain because like I don't know, maybe language barrier, maybe I just don't have enough experience, but I see a lot. I don't have a way to explain it. So that's like my hard like decision. But apart from that, like I'm trying my best, I guess.
Oh yeah, you're doing a great job. Yeah, just keep up the good work. So people that are having entity issues, this is part of the problem. Is it's similar to what you focus into another universe. Well, a person's attention will be vibrating in such a way that it's in tune with an entity, so an entity can communicate. There's something in common that an entity has with the person, and so the person can thus see, hear, feel, or experience in some way the entity. But specifically, I'm talking about being able to see them or talk to them. And so, you know, you're a little kid and you see these entities everywhere walking around the street. They're like ghost beings, but you can see them, but other people can't. This doesn't mean you're crazy. It doesn't mean you're messed up or you're just hallucinating. No, it means your consciousness is tuning in and out of the physical realm, or it has a channel open to communicate, like a Wi-Fi channel, a tuned in channel, television, radio station, and you're tuned in, and this entity can communicate with you. Now, the next thing is like good entity, bad entity, neutral entity. And this is like walking down the street in the physical world. You walk down the street and there's a stranger there. Sometimes the stranger will walk up to you and ask you for something, or, you know, ask for instructions or a dollar or, you know, something. And sometimes they won't, but it depends on the person. You're walking down the street and are you like this? And people are like, oh, don't fuck with them. Don't talk to him. And we all know how to do it. We walk down the street. We don't want to talk to that person over there. It's just, you know, they're doing a survey at the mall, or they're asking for money. It doesn't matter what it is, but you don't want to talk to them. And you have this way, you know what to do. You certainly don't look at them and smile. That opens up a channel. It's psychic, it's telepathic, it's all that. But you're walking down the street and you go, uh-oh. You don't want that entity. It's another human being. But you don't want that entity communicating with you. So you do this thing, you focus. You got to pay attention, because some people are naturally open. They're, hi, how you doing? How you doing? Hi. And then they go, hi. I go, what are you doing? Saying hi to that person, or waving at them or shit. They're going to come over and ask you to fill out the fucking survey. Then they're going to sell you something. Don't you get it? No, I didn't think of that. Well, yeah. You know, so other times you want to be real friendly and you want to talk to people, and you're, oh, hi, hi, hi. And little kids come up to you, puppy dogs come up to you, and it's great. So it's not about it being good or bad. It's about a technical or a mechanism in consciousness. So people that have entity issues, somehow something went wrong with this mechanism, this ability to tune in and tune things out. It doesn't mean you're fucked up or crazy. And now it's like walking down the street in Los Angeles or someplace, and you got this creep following you around and talking in your ear, and you're trying to ignore him, and he won't shut the fuck up, and you're looking for a cop. Hey, could somebody, and he follows you around into the fucking stores, and it's just creepy as shit. It doesn't mean you're crazy, because this entity is talking to you and following you around. It means somehow you got this entity's attention, this bum's attention, and now he's just following you around, and maybe now he's got an attitude. Now he's going to fuck with you a while. So what do? You know, so, and then you get into the strategies of how you deal with entities, and to get them to go away. So what do you do to get the bum or the agitator, creepo guy to go away? You got to communicate to them, or you got to do something. But it's a very similar strategy when you're dealing with incorporeal entities. It's the same phenomenon. Just wanted to bring that up while we were on the subject.
I like it. For me, in my childhood, I didn't used to talk to people, and I was just like, you know, since I could see not just people but entities around them, you know, I'm not even like, hey, you have a lot of entities. Like, who does that? You know, like, it's kind of freak people out. Like, you know, first, like, you know, what the hell are you seeing? And what do you mean I have entities? Like, you know, they get like kind of weird.
Like there's some movie star or Justin Bieber or somebody walking down the sidewalk, and he's got his followers, right? They're all he's just following around. We love you, we love you. He's not talking to them. They're just fucking fans. You know, it's like part of their life. You know, it's like you're seeing people like, you got a lot of entities.
Pretty much. But the thing is, like, you know, since I have the ability to see them, they also see me. They know that I'm aware of them, and like we see each other, like we can have the interaction. But what happens to me is that if I have a conversation with the person, like, hi, the entities, like, it opens up a channel. Now we can talk to each other, because other than that, like, we're just seeing, like, you know, it's still sort of a wall between us. But once you say hi, like, you know, it opens the door. It's like, you know, someone knocks on your door, you can ignore it or you can answer, and whoever is answering, like, has a communication with you. So for me, what would happen, like, in my childhood, I would, like, perceive their entities, and they could, like, they see me and they start messing with me. Since I'm as a kid, I don't know much about it. I see a lot of stuff. I don't understand what's going on. Like, I just know, like, there's a lot of stuff going on. Like, what is it? Like, I as a kid, I don't understand. Now it's like, you know, oh, okay, I should be aware of who I talk to, because some people will have, like, huge entity clusters. And even now, like, you know, I'm sort of aware of this. I have ways now to deal with entities. I have, like, you know, now I have more awareness of myself, my abilities, and I have, like, more power for myself, or at least, like, I think so. But even that, like, nowadays, I don't want to communicate with everyone. I see a lot, some people, like, have huge cluster of entities, and they're like, it's gonna, like, end up really bad if I just, like, even, like, hi, you know, like, any kind of communication. So I'm one of those people who would be quiet, and I'm glad I live in a culture where in Lithuania, people are not like, you know, hi, how are you today? Like, no, they pretty much, like, you know, mind their own business, and that for me, like, creates this, like, safe environment. Because if I would go to America, that happened a few times. I'm, like, really not used to people being friendly. I'm not used to them talking to me, saying hi and stuff, and they talk to me, and I have to answer. But I have entities. I'm like, hi.
Oh, yeah.
So for me, like, sometimes it would be a mindfuck. Nowadays, I'm doing much better because I'm aware of my powers. I'm aware of how to deal with entities. But even like a few years back, I was still like trying to figure out like what to do, and I would still get messed with. Like I can just have a communication with the person who has a lot of entities, and okay, I'll just try to ignore that. But then I get messed with at some point, like energetically wise, those entities can like attach to me and then mess with people around me, and like it will really mess me up. So I have to like pay attention to who I'm talking to, their energy and stuff. It doesn't mean that I'm gonna isolate myself from everyone and not talk to anyone ever again, but it's more like be aware of these things and like raise your vibration, make sure that you have ways to deal with these entities and different things like that. But for me, I always have to be aware of that.
Wow.
Because in past it would be so much that like it would be overwhelming and other people could not understand me, and like it seemed like I'm really bad because I have these abilities, so I started like suppressing it, and then I like suppressed myself to the point where I could not see them and I could communicate to people, but I would still get messed with. And I know that like it's entities, I know that like it's something messing with me, but I suppress my ability to even see them. So like at some point, like what's wrong with me? But then like, oh right, yeah, I remember now. Like you get messed with entities, but like not seeing it. So it's a thing.
Yeah, it really is. So the whole entity thing and the out of body thing, multidimensionality of consciousness and all that stuff, it all connects. There's there's a lot of connections and interactions and all that stuff. And so when you start sharing this out of body experience, you had this recurring out of body experience. I go, oh my God, there's so much to talk about and say.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you said yes when I said, hey, you want to make a video and talk about this?
Yeah. Well, I was like looking forward to it today, and I just didn't really have a chance to sit down and make a video. So I'm glad that when we connected, we could make it.
Well, okay, is this be kind of a good place to wrap it up?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Okay, so yeah, I thank you for watching our stuff. And if you have questions or like to talk about any of these subjects in more detail, just leave some notes in comments below. Your feedback, we always love that. And we'll talk to you later. Thank you, Agvila, for sharing your wonderful UBIs with us too.
You're welcome. And thank you for sharing information.
You're welcome.
Okay.